Hello and welcome to my Campervan kitchen. Today I'm making a traditional Thai meal called Sua Rong Hai, or crying tiger. Despite the name, I'm not actually cooking a tiger steak. This is made with beef. Traditionally this was done with brisket, but nowadays it's usually done with the steak of your choice. So I'm using ribeye because that's my favourite piece of steak. You can choose whichever you want, be it sirloin or rump or whatever. Before we get started, let me just explain the origins of this meal. Sua translates as tiger. Rong means to physically cry out, so to vocalize, and hai means to shed tears. So Sua Rong Hai is crying tiger. Now, this is not specifically a Thai meal. This comes from the Isan culture, which is northeastern Thailand and Laos. There's a few theories to where the name crying tiger came from. They are really old legends and nobody knows exactly where it comes from, but like I said, there's a few variations of it, one of which is the tiger killed a cow and ate it all, and then it got down to the brisket, which he found was the best part of the cow, but he was so full he couldn't eat it and cried. Another myth says that the tiger came to eat the meat and it was so tough it couldn't chew it, so it cried. And the last myth, and the one probably most heard, is that the dipping sauce that comes with it, Nam Jim Jeaw, was so spicy that it made the tiger cry. Either way, they're all fun stories, so choose whichever one you like. They're not important. What is important is this dish is delicious, and to be honest, once I tried this for the first time, I won't eat steak that isn't marinated. There's no need to, because this just turns an ordinary steak into something else. So I'm going to start off with the marinade for the steak. Ideally you want this marinating for at least 2 hours. I sometimes do it overnight. Very often I will do it first thing in the morning when I want to eat the meal later on in the early evening. Right now it's early afternoon, it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to be eating about 6, so 5 hours marinating is plenty. Okay, let's have a look at the ingredients of the marinade. So the steak I've chosen, as I said, is my favourite. This is ribeye. I've chosen quite a thin one so that the flavours from the marinade penetrate as far into it as possible. If you get a really thick steak, then the marinade is not going to penetrate the meat very well. So in my mortar and pestle, black peppercorns, grind them up. Then I'm going to go in with some garlic. Put as much or as little garlic in there as you like. There's no set rules to this. So I've pounded that down into a paste like so. Okay, I'm going to add to it a tablespoon of fish sauce, a tablespoon of oyster sauce, and a tablespoon each of soy sauce and black soy sauce or sweet soy sauce. And I'm also going to add just a little bit of cooking oil. This is vegetable oil. Okay, I'm going to stir them up, give it a good mix. Then you want to cover your steak in the marinade, spread it about, turn it over, do the same. Or you may find it easier if you get a food bag, put your steak in the food bag, and pour the marinade in. Make sure it's covered on both sides. Then wrap that up and put it in the fridge till you're ready to cook. So next up I'm going to make the dipping sauce. Now this meal is not crying tiger without this dipping sauce. It's called Nam Jim Jeaw. Nam is, Nam on its own means water. It's also used in combination with lots of other words to mean sauces and juices. Jim means to dip, so Nam Jim is dipping sauce, and Jeaw is just an Isan regional word. Isan, by the way, is northeastern Thailand and Lao culture. Okay, let's look at the ingredients. So I've got a tablespoon of fish sauce, a tablespoon of freshly squeezed lime, 2 tablespoons of tamarind. Tamarind comes in a tub like this, or you can make your own from pulp. I've got a tablespoon-ish of palm sugar. I've got some chopped shallots. Ideally, I would have used the little tiny red Thai shallots, but they're not easy to get hold of. I've got some coriander or cilantro, depending where you come from, and I've got some kaffir lime leaves, just a little bit, just to add that little bit of taste. You could also add some mint into this sauce as well if you like. That works quite well. This is quite a spicy sauce. In fact, it's meant to be very spicy. You can use either dried chili flakes or fresh chilies, whichever you have available. I'm using fresh chilies. And this sauce isn't Nam Jim Jeaw without this. This is toasted rice powder. This is actually glutinous rice, toasted and then ground in the mortar and pestle to make a powder. This is very lightly toasted. You might see this a little bit darker. Don't know if you'll be able to buy this here in the UK, but it's very easy to make. In fact, I'll do a little video. I'll do a little video later and attach it to this one, just to show you how. It's very simple. You just toast it in a pan and bash it in the mortar and pestle. But this is essential. This adds extra flavour, and it also acts as a thickener for the sauce as well. Very simple. I'm just gonna put them all in. Let's get that sugar in there. The tamarind. Lime juice. Fish sauce. Oh, I might not have enough room in this. Chopped shallots. You can feel lime. I'm just going to remove the spine from the leaves. And then I'm going to just roll it up tightly and then very thinly slice. Like so. Oh, that smell. I love the smell of kaffir lime. I'm going to also chop the coriander. And the chilies. These have been frozen, by the way, which is why they're looking rather limp. And it goes. Just going to mix that in. And then I want to add a couple of tablespoons of toasted rice powder. Or thereabouts. And I'll mix in. And then I'm just going to let that sit for a few hours while I'm waiting for the meat to marinate. And that should be nice and thick by the time the meat is ready for cooking. And I'll catch up with you then. So my steak has been marinated now for about 4.5 hours. And as you can see, the colour of it now, it's really taken on that marinade. So I'm going to put that to one side while it reaches room temperature while I prepare the rest of the meal. Now this meal would in Thailand traditionally be served with sticky rice, cucumber and cabbage, not cooked cabbage, raw cabbage. The idea is the cucumber and the cabbage are used to cool down your mouth after the really spicy dipping sauce, the Nam Jim Jeaw. But I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to kind of westernize it a little bit, and I'm going to cook some caramelised onions. I'm going to have it with mushrooms, and I'm going to also have some pak choi or bok choy, depending on where you come from. And next I'm going to cook my steak. I like mine medium well. So I'm not going to show you how to cook a steak. We all know how to cook a steak, just fry it. My steak is quite thin, so I'm just going to do it a couple of minutes either side. That for me is done. I'm just going to put it to one side while I cook the mushrooms and cook the pak choi. I'm going to slice up the steak. In Thailand, you will never be served a steak in full like we do here in the UK. It's always sliced into pieces. In fact, if you've ever been in a Thai restaurant in Thailand, you will know that they never put a knife and fork on the table. It's always a spoon and a fork. And everything is always cut up into pieces that can fit in the mouth. So you never need a knife. Look at that. So I'm going to plate this up. Starting with the steak. Pak choi, mushrooms, caramelised onions. You can put that over the steak if you want to, but I like it on the side. And let's not forget Nam Jim Jeaw. Look at that now. Lovely and thick. Give it a dip. Oh my god. And caramelised onions. Oh. This is unreal, honestly. Oh my God. That is out of this world. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.